Hey, Astra Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Pisces Ascendant. And before I start, I just want to give a few quick disclaimers here. I am using Vedic Sidereal astrology. So if you're coming from Western tropical astrology, this may not work for you. Make sure that you have the correct information. There is a calculator down below in the description so that you have your sidereal placements. Also, this is a general interpretation of what it looks like to have a Pisces ascendant. So I don't know all of your charts personally. This will definitely differ depending upon aspects, conjunctions, yogas, dashas, etc. in your natal chart. But this is just to give you a general overview of what it looks like to have a Pisces ascendant. So let's talk about the sign of Pisces. Pisces is a dual sign. That means there is duality in this sign. It is very changeable, adaptable, flexible, and for the most part, for dual signs, the first 15 degrees tend to be more fixed in nature, while the last 15 degrees tend to be more changeable, adaptable. But Pisces is perhaps the most dual of all the dual signs because it is represented by two fish that are swimming in different directions, which definitely shows huge duality in this sign. Pisces ascendant sometimes can run into confusion when trying to make decisions in life, mainly because this is a water sign. So this is very sensitive, very emotional. So Pisces ascendants don't want to hurt other people with their decisions. They are very sensitive, very compassionate, very understanding of others. And this can lead to some confusion at times, which could also lead to just making impulsive decisions based off of feeling, particularly when they are younger in age. So this is definitely something to watch out for. And again, with Pisces being a water sign, extremely compassionate, empathetic, caring, considerate of others, this tends to be a very peaceful and friendly sign that gets along with people from all different walks of life. The water is also about deep spirituality, about intuition. The water signs are connected to moksha, towards liberation, enlightenment. So, definitely, this is a very spiritual sign of Pisces. Pisces is ruled over by Jupiter, but some say that Pisces is also co ruled by Ketu because Ketu is all about our spiritual enlightenment, our ability to find that ultimate liberation, that key towards breaking free from the cycles of this physical reality and merging with our higher self, that spiritual journey. So that is closely connected to the sign of Pisces. But Jupiter is mainly the ruler of Pisces, which shows that Pisces is definitely a very expansive sign. It is very optimistic, hopeful, dreamy, and it is definitely a very spiritual and knowledgeable sign as well. Huge wisdom is found in the sign of Pisces. So let's talk about health for Pisces ascendant people. Leo has rulership over the sixth house of illnesses. So typically, Pisces ascendant people are sensitive to cardiovascular concerns, towards issues related to circulation, towards high blood pressure. These are definitely things to watch out for. This could also show some issues related to the stomach as well. And because Pisces rules the feet, there could be issues related to the feet as well. So, getting into foot injuries and all of these things you want to watch out for. And because Pisces is a water sign, issues with water retention, with circulation in the body, fluid retention, weight gain can be seen as well. So, with Pisces ruling over the first house of the chart and Sagittarius ruling over the 10th house, Jupiter has rulership over these two Kendra houses. This makes Jupiter a very prominent planet for Pisces ascendant. This is a functional benefic for the chart for sure. And because these two houses are linked up by Jupiter, Pisces ascendant people are very much career oriented people. They are all about their career. Usually, whatever their life is about, whatever they consider to be their identity, who they are, that somehow plays a role into their career path in life. They feel intuitively drawn to whatever path they take. Because Pisces has rulership over the first house, their whole life becomes about spirituality, becomes about trying to uncover the deeper knowledge, the deeper wisdom of life. And this could give a fascination with the occult, mysticism, hidden knowledge for some as well. Pisces is a very dreamy, imaginative sign. They can live in their own world sometimes, and they can be very talented and creative people, coming up with all sorts of stories and creative ideas. They have huge inspiration. They can be very dreamy in terms of romance as well, because Pisces is the 12th sign, and the 12th house of anyone's chart represents the bedroom. So, definitely, this is a very romantic sign. They are in love with love, although they are very independent people because Pisces is the sign of isolation. So, sometimes they can have this lone wolf energy about them as well, where they enjoy their alone time. And sometimes they need this alone time because they're very sensitive people. So they need some peace, some quiet, some vacation, some meditation, relaxation in their life to recharge their energy. This becomes extremely important. If you are constantly just giving to other people, make sure that you consider self love if you have Pisces ascendant. Because Pisces is the 12th sign and the 12th house deals with foreign lands, Pisces also could have connection with foreign people, foreign places. They could travel to foreign lands at some point in their lives. They tend to have a great love of travel and movement. They also are very wise people. They have a very unique intelligence about them. They're very intuitive. It's as if they're able to draw information directly from spirit. So there is some kind of higher consciousness, higher intelligence that is coming in with the sign of Pisces as well. And because Jupiter has rulership over their first house, they always want to teach, to guide, to inspire people with their knowledge. This is particularly true also because Sagittarius rules the 10th house of how they show up in the public, how they are in their status, their career. They want to do good in the world. They want to raise the consciousness of the planet. So, whatever they choose to do in their profession, it usually has something to do with trying to make the world a better place, trying to do good for other people. They hold themselves to very high standards in their professional life because Sagittarius is all about the higher principles, higher morals, higher values. So, definitely, they are going to be all about this higher mission, higher cause through whatever they do in the public. They could need a little bit of change, freedom, and really the ability to move around in their career as well, because Sagittarius is a very restless sign. So sometimes Pisces ascendant people could get bored easily or could find that their focus can drift easily. So sometimes they need something that offers them more variety. They could be doing multiple things in their career, or they could have a lot of travel and movement that's involved with their career as well. Definitely, they want freedom in their career, though, because Sagittarius rules the 10th house. So, oftentimes, Pisces ascendant people could be self employed, or that could be an interest of theirs as well. So, Aries has rulership over the second house and Scorpio over the ninth house. This makes Mars a very auspicious planet for the chart because Scorpio has rulership over that ninth house of luck and fortune. So definitely Mars can bring in some good fortune into the Pisces life. Now, because the second house rules wealth, security, sustenance, and the ninth house is about luck and fortune, Pisces ascendant people could suddenly earn wealth in their life. They suddenly gain opportunities, gain fortune out of nowhere with this position. And this could sometimes have to do with inheritance as well, which we'll talk about the different nakshatras as we move forward here. But two of the nakshatras that fall under Pisces are represented by a deathbed, which is a reference to gaining wealth through inheritance through the family. Pisces ascendant people find their individuality through their ability to earn wealth and to secure their family and their sense of security in life. So when they're able to stand on their own 2 feet, to make money, to gain that sense of security in the world, this makes them feel very strong in who they are. They're definitely very family oriented people. They are very much close to their loved ones with this position as well. For Pisces ascendant, their family upbringing could have been very disciplined because Aries is ruled by Mars, which is this soldier like energy. So, definitely a very disciplined and organized early upbringing. But also, Aries is about physical activity. So, they could have been very active at a young age as well. Their family could have encouraged them to get involved in different activities or could have taken them hiking on different adventures early on in their life as well. Usually, their personal values are very strong also. Aries is a very strong sign. So they stand by their values and they can have a very strong speaking ability as well. Very powerful speech with Aries in the second house. They could have also come from a family background where someone in their family was in the military and the police, was into fighting, sports, into social activism, into the healing fields, medical field in some way. There is some kind of heroic or protective energy coming through their family line. Because Scorpio has rulership over the ninth house of the chart, they also have this past life karma in connection with their father. So even if they don't personally know their father, there is some kind of strong connection with their father and their father's bloodline with Pisces ascendant. They could also have some karmic issues in relationship to teachers, mentors, gurus in their life as well. And typically through their higher learning and foreign travels, they face sudden change and transformation in their lives. So if a Pisces is feeling stuck in their lives, when they travel, this changes the circumstances of their life. So, this is something that usually helps them to achieve success. Sometimes there are secrets related to the father as well with Scorpio in that ninth house. So, there may be a lot that you don't know about your father and your father's bloodline for some of you, or you may be holding on to secrets connected to your father also. Definitely with Scorpio in the ninth house, you take religion, spirituality, philosophy to the deepest level. Many Pisces ascendant people actually are not interested in religion and trying to stick to strict dogma. You are more so about really wanting to get to the root of what spirituality is about. Scorpio is about digging deep underground. So you get to the depths of what it all means. You're able to understand the abstract concepts, the deep spiritual meaning, the symbolism behind all of these complex subjects. So, very intelligent people. And you take your spirituality and your belief systems very seriously because Scorpio is a very intense sign. So, you focus heavily on your belief systems. It becomes extremely important to you. This could also represent an ability to really tap into otherworldly things with this position as well, because ninth house is all about long distance journeys, and Scorpio is about the hidden things, about the otherworldly, the paranormal things. So, for some Pisces ascendants, there's this ability to raise their consciousness level and to be able to tap into other realms, other dimensions. There's this strong intuition and ability to tap into otherworldly things with Scorpio here in this ninth house. Because Aries rules over the second house of wealth, Pisces ascendants also are not afraid to take risk when it comes to making money. They could just start working at a young age, or they could start up their own business or do something that is very dynamic and unique through their money making approach. So, very courageous and bold people when it comes to making money. But they could be a little bit impulsive at a young age with this position, where sometimes there's a need to learn how to use money properly. And as they get older, they may become very protective because, again, this Aries sign is this military energy coming into this second house of wealth. So Taurus has rulership over the third house of the chart and Libra over the eighth house. So Venus becomes a functional malefic. Venus is definitely going to cause some issues in the chart. Maybe not so strongly because Venus is a softer planet. It is more so wanting to create peace and harmony, but Venus is still going to create some obstacles. So, for Pisces ascendant people, they value communication. They value their friends, their siblings, their neighborhood, their neighbors. They like that feeling of closeness and connection. So, definitely, they love to communicate. They could be really into chit chat and to connecting to the people closest to them. They also value their ability to express themselves creatively. They can have some kind of creative talent, or they just like to be surrounded by music and art. They can find music to be extremely healing. They could be skilled in terms of media, of spreading information, really getting into dramatic arts and performance, getting their message across to the world. They can be very talented in this area. They also have a great love of travel and movement once again. But because this is Taurus, they like to travel in comfort. So they don't like to travel just to travel. They want to make sure they have all their conveniences. They have that sense of comfort. Usually, their communication style is also very friendly, very peaceful. They want to get along with others. They want to communicate in a way where they are not hurting anyone's feelings or causing any kind of conflict. They could be very chit chatty and flirtatious in their communication as well. And sometimes Pisces ascendants could be skilled singers because this is the third house of our skills, our talents, and Taurus is all about music. So they could have some kind of musical talent in them. Because Libra has rulership over the eighth house, they can find sudden ups and downs in their relationships. So they could suddenly get into a new relationship spontaneously, or they can suddenly leave relationships as well. They tend to face these dramatic ups and downs in their relationship situations. So that could be somewhat of a hardship for Pisces ascendant people. And especially when it comes to marriage, when it comes to business partnerships, they can see these very dramatic ups and downs. At the same time, though, for Pisces ascendant people, their ups and downs in life tend to even out because Libra is here. So they know how to balance out some of those dramatic situations. They know how to use peace, diplomacy, negotiation to try to find even ground with some of the difficult situations in their lives. So they tend to be very successful with this. So there is some kind of luck factor that also comes for a Pisces ascendant person because Libra is all about other people. So in their time of crisis, they tend to attract other people at the right time, which helps them through these difficult challenges. They also could be very fortunate in terms of inheritance, again, in terms of earning wealth. Sometimes even earning wealth through a partner can be seen with Libra in the eighth house. And definitely, this gives them a huge love of the occult, mysticism, astrology, deep research. They want to find the deeper meaning of life, and they can bring this into their relationships, into their way of communicating with other people also. For some Pisces ascendants, they also could be doing business in secret or doing business with the family for some of them as well. But usually you want to see the position of Venus, but usually with Libra in the eighth house, they tend to get along well with their in laws and their family with this position. Gemini has rulership over the fourth house and Virgo over the seventh house. Mercury also becomes a functional malefic for the chart. Not as dramatic as Venus, but there can be some issues coming into their married life once again because we have Virgo in the seventh house. So there can be conflicts, arguments, disagreements. At the same time, though, because Virgo is here, they work really hard to try to resolve those issues. So through good communication, they find a way to overcome some of their obstacles in their relationships. But definitely, they could attract a spouse who is very nitpicky, very detail oriented, very much about the practical world, concerned about practical things. And this could sometimes create issues in the relationship. The partner could be a little bit too critical of the Pisces, and Pisces people are very sensitive. So this could cause a lot of arguments and disagreements. But again, through communication, they tend to work through this. Their partner definitely could be like a friend to them, could be someone who is very much wanting to help and to bring a sense of security into their relationship. So there is this feeling of companionship generally with the spouse. Because Gemini rules the fourth house, this also shows that Pisces ascendant people tend to communicate the most through their home environment. They can be very talkative in their home, and they usually have a great connection with their mother. They can talk a lot with their mother with this position. The mother herself could also be someone who's very talkative or someone who's always dealing with social media, with different conversations, internet, with this placement. There tends to be a lot of mental activity within the home environment. So, definitely for Pisces ascendant, they see their home as a place to gather knowledge and information, to learn, to communicate, to express themselves. And for Pisces ascendant, their home could be a place where they retreat to go into deep contemplation, into thinking, into really sorting out the information in their minds. Usually, also because Gemini is represented by two lovers, they want to feel companionship in their home environment. So they want to live with a partner, definitely. But this could even come through living with a pet or inviting a friend over to their home sometimes. They want to feel this feeling of being connected with someone through their home environment. This could also indicate that they travel a lot as well because Gemini is a very restless sign coming into the fourth house. So sometimes they can be a little bit restless in their homes where they want change, they want movement, they want to travel to different places as well. So, Cancer has rulership over the fifth house. This is a very interesting position and it's very auspicious. The moon becomes a very positive planet, one of the most positive for Pisces ascendant people. So you definitely want to see where is the moon position in the chart. But because this is the house of intelligence with Cancer here, Pisces ascendants have a very unique intelligence. Their intelligence tends to be very intuitive, very emotional, very right brain thinking. So they can be very abstract in their way of thinking. They have this very deep intuition and very unique way of seeing things. And because the moon is very changeable, it waxes and wanes and moves very quickly. This can also show that their intelligence is very quick as well, which sometimes could mean that they learn very quickly, they gather information very quickly, very intelligent people, but also their mind can wander a lot. They can change their mind, they can lose focus. So, this is something that definitely they want to watch out for, especially in their education, because they could lose track of their studies sometimes. Definitely, when it comes to higher education, especially when they get into university with this position, into their undergraduate studies, there can be some fluctuation coming into this area. And it's because Cancer is very emotional. So they need to pick a subject that they feel emotionally connected to. If they're just doing a subject just for their family or for what they think society wants, they will definitely fail at it. So they need something that their whole heart and soul is in. This becomes extremely important. Pisces ascendants also tend to make great parents because they are super emotional when it comes to children. They have a very strong emotional attachment with children. And definitely, they're very creative once again, very imaginative, very dreamy people. This emotion and passion going into this fifth house of creativity makes them extremely talented. When it comes to romance and dating, which can also be seen to this fifth house, again, very emotional. They can be a little bit moody sometimes in relationships, or they can find that they really want that deep emotional attachment through a partner. And sometimes they could be a little bit too dreamy about relationships, like they want this fairy tale style romance coming into their lives. So there can be a lot of fluctuation here because of the waxing and waning of the moon, where they face a lot of ups and downs and changes in their relationships. Also, because Cancer rules this house, they tend to gain a lot of luck and fortune through the mother. The mother is very supportive and beneficial in their life. And the mother could be a teacher, a counselor, a coach of some kind, because fifth house is all about education. Mother could be creative with this position as well. If Leo has gone into the sixth house of the chart, then definitely the sun becomes a very interesting planet for the chart because sun is ruling over a very difficult karmic house. But at the same time, the sun can help them to deal with the issues of this house as well. So it's a little bit of a neutral position of Leo. So typically, again, Pisces ascendant people have karma in relationship to their father. This is very strong, strong past life connection with the father. And sometimes this means that they can also gain through the father as well. But for Pisces ascendants, sometimes they face conflicts and challenges in relationship to a father figure. And this could mean that there's separation with the father, there's issues with the father sometimes. The father also could be busy dealing with the issues of the world, could be very much into service, into military, into the medical field, the legal field with this position, just constantly dealing with the pains of the world. So, this could also create some separation with the father for some people, also. But father could be a source of debt, of issues that come into the family for some as well. So, you really want to see how is the sun position in the chart. Pisces ascendants also have a strong karma with children, which often is connected to their karma that they have with their father as well. So they're very much geared towards serving children, towards protecting children. They have very strong opinions and views about how children should be treated. They could also have some karmic issues related to their education. So be very careful about racking up debt through education, having some issues in this area. Speculation may also create some obstacles for Pisces as well. So that may be something that you want to be very careful of taking risk, of taking too many investments. And for Pisces Ascendant, their competition, the people who often cause them the most difficulties in life, are people who are very dominant, very authoritative. So typically for Pisces Ascendant people, they want to work for themselves, they want to be their own boss. Because usually their boss becomes an opponent for them. Their boss can be very arrogant, very dominating, very mean towards them, and they could have a lot of issues in this area. Also, for Pisces ascendant people, their ego, their confidence, their pride really comes through having a solid routine in life, which can sometimes be a challenge for Pisces ascendant people. They are very changeable, very adaptable. But when they have that solid routine, it makes them feel more confident in themselves. So, this becomes extremely important. They also sometimes have to be careful with their health. Again, with Leo here, this can create issues, especially with cardiovascular system. Very important that you watch for this. But with a solid routine, this helps you to work through your health. And you can actually be a very healthy person with the sun lighting up this sixth house. You can be very interested in diet, exercise, routine, but it's all about sticking to your routine and not just drifting off into other places. You could also find that your daily work life is full of creativity, or you want your everyday life to be full of creativity. You, again, like to have music around, to have art around, to have that sense of comfort and peace around you in your environment. This becomes very important to you. You could become very bored with just an ordinary, monotonous routine. You need something to add an element of creativity to it. And for some Pisces ascendants, you could even work in a field of creativity as well. You could be into dramatic arts, into music with this position as well. So Capricorn has rulership over the 11th house and Aquarius over the 12th house. This definitely makes Saturn a functional malefic for the chart. So for Pisces ascendants, because they have Capricorn in their 11th house, their hopes and dreams are usually around success. They want to have a sense of security. They want to have that sense of status. And again, usually it is a status that is about helping people because the 11th house is about groups, organizations, about making a difference through causes and movements. So they want that status where they can make a difference, where they can make an impact in the world. This could also show that their elder sibling or their social network circle are people who are very status conscious, people who are very business oriented, hardworking people. You want to relate to people who are of value, people who are serious, who are passionate about something in life, people who are really going to put in the effort to contribute to society, to make a difference. You don't like to just have frivolous friends. And because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, sometimes you also could hold on to old friends. You like to have that feeling of sentiment, that feeling that you know this person already, that you're connected to them. So sometimes you could struggle with making new friends with this position, or this could restrict your friend circle for some of you. You want to see where is Saturn placed in the chart. But Pisces people do tend to have fewer friends with Capricorn ruling over the 11th house. And definitely Pisces ascendants work very hard to achieve their hopes and dreams. Nothing can stop them from achieving success in life. But sometimes they can have delays because they are very dreamy, very imaginative people who can drift off into their own world. So a lot of the time, their success, their wealth, their achievements in life tends to come in the second half of life. But definitely, they have huge drive, huge ambition. No one can stop them from achieving in life. And especially because Saturn rules this house, they can have huge gains of wealth coming in because Saturn is all about the things that last. So, definitely, this can indicate that you could become a very wealthy and fortunate person in the second half of life. Sometimes it could also indicate that you face some distance with an elder sibling with Saturn's rulership over this house. There can be some feeling of loss, detachment in relationship to siblings. Aquarius has rulership over the 12th house of the chart. So you're very service oriented. You want to do good for society. So you could get into charities, into philanthropy work, into all sorts of groups and organizations that are all about raising the consciousness of the planet. And because this is the 12th house, it could be something spiritual as well. You could be wanting to get involved with spiritual communities and groups with this position. But even through schools, institutions, hospitals, you want to really make a difference. You want to help those in need. Sometimes this could also indicate that you find your greatest friends through foreign connection, because 12th house is all about foreign lands. And it could also show that you lose through your friends sometimes. So sometimes there is feeling of not being able to easily trust people. There can be a feeling that people just take advantage of your kindness, and this could make you form a boundary around your social circle where you don't easily let people in. So, especially at a younger age, Pisces ascendants can be very open, very friendly, very much accepting of others, but can find that other people just take advantage of their kindness, which later in life can lead them to becoming more closed off about who they allow into their life. So there can be some feeling of loss around friendships and connections that can be seen. Sometimes you feel just completely misunderstood by others, and you feel more comfortable being in your own space. So this can take you into isolation also. With Aquarius here, you want to be careful about escapist tendencies too, because Aquarius is definitely a sign that is detached, that is aloof. And with this placement, sometimes you can find means to escape by just going into your own world, or at the worst case scenario, going into addictions, which you want to be very careful of. Pisces is a sign that can easily fall into addictions, that can easily fall into all sorts of issues related to emotions and sensitivity. So, definitely, you want to find a healthy outlet to really get through some of these difficult feelings and attachments. Pisces is the last sign. So it is all about letting go, forgiveness, making peace with the past, which may be a huge lesson that many of you have to deal with in life. Definitely, Pisces ascendant can be a challenging sign sometimes to have, because it is all about this deeper spiritual journey, which forces you to face parts of yourself that most people would not want to. So, definitely a lot of deep spiritual subconscious work to do for Pisces ascendant people. But with Aquarius here, you have great intuition. You are attuned with the whole collective with Aquarius back in this 12th house. So you have a great love of humanity. You want to do good in the world. You want to help other people. But sometimes it could feel out of reach, like it is too large of a mission for you to achieve. So there's definitely a need to work through some past issues and emotional difficulties with this placement. Now, let's talk about Jupiter through all 12 houses, starting off with Jupiter in the first house, which is a very auspicious placement of Jupiter. Jupiter is in its own sign of Pisces and in the first house where it receives directional strength. This is going to create a Hamsa yoga in the chart. So you are extremely knowledgeable, wise beyond your years. You're very spiritual. You want to learn, you want to explore the deeper meaning of life. And you are someone who is able to share your knowledge with other people as well. You see yourself as a teacher, as someone who has a mission to spread this knowledge out into the world. So you are all about kindness, all about trying to help people, trying to raise the consciousness of the planet. You're a very emotional and sensitive person as well, because Jupiter is expansion. So it expands this emotional sensitivity of Pisces even further. So you are extremely compassionate, generous, forgiving, accepting. You have a huge heart with Jupiter in this first house. You're a very hopeful and dreamy person as well, and you love to spread optimism and hope to other people. Sometimes, because the first house also rules the physical body, this could make you someone who's tall in height, or you have a larger appearance for some of you. Sometimes you also want to watch out for weight gain. You may have a sweet tooth. You may be very expansive, very indulgent with this placement, but you want to have fun. You want to bring people together to spread optimism and wisdom to other people to really make the world a better place. So, very auspicious placement. This could also give you some luck through foreign lands, through your education, through children, through marriage with this position. This tends to be an all around positive placement. And even if Jupiter is badly damaged in the chart, it will still protect you. It will give you a lot of wisdom to overcome many obstacles and situations of crisis. If Jupiter has gone into the second house of the chart, this is a very dynamic placement. This is in the sign of Aries. You are a leader. You are someone who is daring, determined, and especially through your speech, you are seen as a leader. You have a very powerful way of speaking that people really enjoy listening to. People will follow behind your wisdom and knowledge. And you are someone who also could gain a lot of wealth in life as well. You could be very fortunate in terms of money. You are definitely someone who is focused towards money and security with your ascendant lord in the second house, but you're also focused towards your family. Your family becomes extremely important to you. And especially if Jupiter is unafflicted here, then you could have had a great relationship with the family. And sometimes, because Jupiter is about travel, you could have traveled early on in your childhood as well. But definitely, the family encouraged you to gain education, to gain knowledge, and supported you in your upbringing. So this becomes a very positive placement. You could also have a great love of food as well with this placement. And you could be a little overindulgent, but usually with this placement, you want the best things in life. You want the things that are really going to be healthy and quality for the body. So this becomes a very positive placement. If Jupiter has gone into the third house of the chart, then this means that definitely you are a very expressive person. You love to get along with your neighbors, your friends, your community. You are very much into the social dynamics in your local environment. This becomes very important to you. You also could be the youngest sibling, or you could have a close connection with a younger sibling with this placement that works out really well for you. You definitely are a courageous person because Jupiter expands the qualities of this house. So you are extremely dynamic, courageous, expressive. You love to put your message out into the world. And you could be very talented with writing, communication, media, arts with this placement. This definitely, though, could make you someone who's a little bit stubborn, though. You could be very stuck in your ways sometimes. But for the most part, you are someone who loves to learn, who loves to travel, who loves to enjoy life to the fullest. And this could definitely help with your education for some of you as well. You could do very well in your studies. You always love to learn, to gather information. If Jupiter has gone into the fourth house of the chart, this is also a very auspicious placement of Jupiter. You have a close bond with your mother, with your family, with this placement, and you could want to make your home situation something that is spiritual, that is peaceful, that is your sanctuary. Also, the family could be very much this community situation where everyone comes together, has a laugh, enjoys their time together. So, this can be a very social and enjoyable family situation. You love family gatherings and celebrations, this ability to really bring people together. You could also be skilled in real estate and property as well because the ascendant lord has gone into this fourth house. So, you could do very well in this area, but you just have this very calm, happy go lucky attitude towards life that people in your family really enjoy. If Jupiter has gone into the fifth house of the chart, this is very auspicious. This is, first of all, creating a Raj Yoga effect because this is the ascendant Lord going into the fifth house, a Dracon house. But also, Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. This makes you extremely intelligent. You love to learn, you love to gather knowledge, you have huge wisdom. And this could even get you into spirituality, into mantra rituals, into ancient scriptures with this placement. You could be very well versed with spirituality. You also have a great love for children. You love to teach. You could be an actual teacher with this placement, dealing with younger people. But you yourself are a child at heart as well. You love to express yourself. You have this innocence and this old soul energy about you that is very happy go lucky and very nice to be around. People love your energy. This also could make you very lucky person as well, especially with speculation, with stock market for some of you. But of course, you want to see what is the condition of Jupiter in the chart. But definitely you will be creative, talented. You could be very skilled with writing with this position for sure. You could write your own book with Jupiter in the fifth house. If Jupiter has gone into the sixth house of the chart, this is a bit of a tricky position sometimes because the ascendant lord has gone into a heavily karmic house. So it can create some obstacles sometimes, but for the most part, Jupiter wants to protect the chart. So coming into this placement, it will show that You could have a great relationship with coworkers with this placement, and you're a very helpful person, very service oriented. You could be into health and medicine with this placement. You could have a great love for animals with Jupiter in this sixth house. You want to make the world a better place. You want to help those in need. This also could get you into a position where you are a leader, you are a director, you are a manager, you're someone who really shows the way to other people, but people look up to you, they respect you for this. And this could also make you health conscious as well. You want to take care of your health. So you could gather a ton of knowledge and information about the greatest ways to take care of health with this position. You could be really into this. Sometimes, though, because Jupiter is expansive, you may want to watch out for having a sweet tooth or overindulging with this position. But for the most part, you really want to take care of your health to focus on these areas of your life. If Jupiter has gone into the seventh house of the chart, this can be auspicious sometimes for your married life. Jupiter here could definitely bring to you a spouse who gives you a lot of knowledge, a lot of inspiration, who really gives you a sense of support through your marriage. And your spouse could also be someone who's very critical because this is in the sign of Virgo. So, extremely detail oriented, hardworking, business savvy partner. But you could get along very well with your spouse with Jupiter here. This could definitely indicate a very good and happy marriage. But of course, you want to see what is the condition of Jupiter. Definitely with this placement, you could do well in the world of business. You could do very well in business partnerships, anything related to business and dealing with the masses, you could excel at with this position. Sometimes this could also indicate that your partner is very traditional or someone who has very strong views. If Jupiter has gone into the eighth house of the chart, then Jupiter is in the sign of Libra. So this could really get you into psychology. You're very interested in other people. And because it's in the eighth house, you want to go deep into this. You really want to understand how the human mind works, why people behave the way that they do. This could really get you into also spirituality, into mysticism, magic, occult. You really want to explore the deeper meaning of life. And you have very strong intuition. So, very important that you're able to listen in to your inner voice. This will definitely guide you in life. On a more mundane and practical level, this could get you into deep research, detective work as well. Definitely, though, you want to dive into the mysteries of life and you have huge wisdom. You are always looking to the deeper meaning. If Jupiter has gone into the ninth house of the chart, very auspicious placement, you could have a great relationship with your father with this position. And your father could be somewhat of a teacher to you, a guru, someone who inspires you. A father could be very knowledgeable with this placement. Sometimes the father could also be a little dramatic and secretive with this placement as well because this falls in the sign of Scorpio. But you want to see what is the condition of Jupiter here. Usually, this creates an auspicious connection with the father. This really gets you into spirituality, philosophy. You are always looking to the higher meaning of life. And you could also search for a guru or teacher in your life to guide you, or you yourself could take on that role of a teacher and could be very inspiring to others. You make a great leader with Jupiter here in the sign of Scorpio. This could definitely make you a philosopher, a college professor, anyone who is able to spread knowledge and information. You could publish a book with Jupiter in this ninth house. You are all about this deep philosophical and spiritual wisdom. If Jupiter has gone into the 10th house of the chart, very auspicious. This creates a Hamsa yoga, just like Jupiter in the first house. Jupiter is in its own sign of Sagittarius here in the 10th house. Very auspicious. This definitely makes you very philosophical, very spiritual, very much focused towards the higher principles, the universal laws. This can make you a great teacher, a great leader, a great influencer. You could work in fields that relate to spirituality, metaphysics, education with this position. You could be also working in the field of law for some of you, even working in fields where you are concerned with the higher principles, the moral values. This becomes very important to you. You're a very righteous person. You want to do good in the world. If Jupiter has gone into the 11th house of the chart, then this is definitely going to make you interested in wealth creation. This is a very interesting position because Jupiter is debilitated here, but this is not necessarily a negative thing. But instead of it being so much about spirituality, it could be more about money and material things. So you could be very skilled in the financial fields with this placement. It could also get you into politics, into charity work, into social work, social reform, trying to make a difference within society. You want to take a practical approach to try to make an impact on the people. This could also show that you have a strong connection with an elder sibling, but the elder sibling is very business oriented, very materialistic, all about the practical concerns of life. So, again, very much practical with Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn. This could definitely be a very auspicious placement for expanding your wealth with this placement as well. You could gain a lot of wealth through Jupiter in this 11th house. If Jupiter has gone into the 12th house of the chart, then this can make you very interested in philanthropy, into humanitarian causes, different movements, groups, organizations, institutions. You want to make a difference. You want to help others in the world. This becomes extremely important to you. You could work in a hospital, prison, school with this placement. You really want to make a difference in these larger organizations. This also can mean that you have very good sleep patterns because Jupiter is a very benefic planet coming into this 12th house of the bedroom. So, very good sleep. You also could be very much interested into other worldly things because 12th house is about the things that are beyond our current environment. So you could be into outer space with this falling in the sign of Aquarius, into aeronautics, advanced new age technology. You could be interested in spirituality, mysticism, occult, all sorts of otherworldly things with this placement. This could also be very good at making peace with your past. You could be very skilled at letting go, really finding that sense of peace and closure within yourself as well. So it can be very good for your spiritual journey, for your overall progress in life. So let's talk about the different nakshatras that fall under the sign of Pisces, starting off with Purva Bhadrapada. Purva Bhadrapada is a very interesting nakshatra, very eccentric, and most of it fell in the sign of Aquarius, which is the most eccentric sign. Here in the sign of Pisces, it does become more about spirituality, more so than those Aquarian pursuits. But ultimately, you're a very mysterious person and very difficult to understand sometimes. You have your own unique way of thinking and being that doesn't necessarily fit into the social norms. So you're a very interesting person. Definitely, you are into spirituality, you are into the occult, mysticism, UFOs, aliens, all sorts of otherworldly subjects. And you could be a very dynamic and bold person as well. You could just say things in a really bold way that is sometimes off putting to other people. You definitely could be very fortunate in terms of gaining wealth, but sometimes you want to be careful about taking on debt because Purva Bhadrapada people sometimes have issues with being able to pay off debt. So that's something that you want to watch out for. This could get you into murder mystery, detective stories. You love to learn about the darker side of life for some of you. You could be into horror movies. This really gives you an interest in exploring your fears and exploring darkness. But ultimately, you're someone who's very kind and compassionate with this placement. Although there can be a duality in this where some people can choose a darker path in life, but most people with this will definitely find their way through the darkness and will be someone who wants to bring goodness to society. So you can be very charitable, very helpful, very compassionate, down to earth, wanting to make a difference within society. You could be fascinated with graveyards, with funeral homes. There's this interest in death with this placement. And this symbol of death also relates to inheritance. So, once again, there can be luck of wealth coming through the family with this position, or luck of wealth in general that you gain out of life. This definitely could take you through a spiritual awakening as well. You could have all sorts of strange and otherworldly experiences with this placement. And sometimes it can be a difficult placement where you could make a lot of mistakes, could have a lot of hardships early on in life. But ultimately, it helps you to grow spiritually because you were on this deep spiritual journey. So, if a Terra Bhadrapada is rising in your chart, this is a very auspicious placement, but sometimes the earlier part of life, especially, could feel like luck is not on your side because Atera means ladder. So a lot of the good things come later on in life, in the second half of life. With a Terra Bhadrapada, you could have a great love of the ocean. You love to be near the beach, to be in swimming pools. You could be a skilled swimmer, or you could have some interest related to scuba diving, deep diving with this placement. And also, there is some water like effect to your personality. You spread this coolness to other people. You have a very calm, laid back personality, very peaceful to be around. So, generally, people love being around you. You have this healing effect on other people. You also are extremely intuitive and psychic with this placement. And this is extremely important that you're able to listen to your inner voice. You have a lot of deep subconscious wisdom coming from past life experience. And typically, being around the water also increases your intuition, your imagination, your inspiration. You get the best ideas when you are in a bathtub, in a swimming pool, near the beach. You have this very strong connection with water. Prosperity and wealth tends to flow to you like the water as well, because a Bhadrapada is very much connected to Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. So a lot of fortune can come into your life. But because this is the latter part, this could show that a lot of this wealth comes later on in life, which may come through family inheritance, through family members supporting you also. You could gain some unexpected wealth sometimes with this position. You could also have a great fascination with not only the ocean, but creatures of the sea as well, where you could have a great love for mermaids, for all sorts of sea creatures. You could also have an interest in the Loch Ness monster sometimes. As a child, you may have had an interest in dragons or dinosaurs as well. There's this fascination with sea creatures that can be seen. Sometimes there is a feeling of insecurity, though, that comes with a Terra Bhadrapada. You could feel like people don't really listen to you or give you the proper credit or respect your wisdom sometimes. You could be a little bit hesitant to share your ideas. You could feel that sometimes you're a little bit different or you don't fit in with other people. So there's definitely a need to work on your self esteem. But ultimately, you can also have a very charismatic, very optimistic, friendly personality that people enjoy when you're able to be confident within yourself. People really love your personality. Sometimes you can have a feeling of loss in your life, though. You could be afraid of losing friends, attachments. You could have abandonment issues with this placement sometimes. So, again, there's a need to work on your self esteem. The more that you're able to work on your self esteem, you become this person who's able to spread goodness, wisdom, and compassion in the world. You have a huge contribution to the world. You can make the world a better place, and people usually appreciate this of you, but sometimes you don't always see this. You could have some insecurities in your relationships as well. Be very careful not to spy on your spouse, to come up with too many accusations towards your partner. Sometimes you could feel a little bit insecure and can make up scenarios in your head that are not necessarily true. You also want to be very careful about how you communicate sometimes, because you have powerful speech that has the ability to impact other people in the world. You have huge wisdom that you can share with others that raises the consciousness of the planet. But sometimes people misunderstand your communication, where you could say something that could attract a lot of difficulties and arguments to you. Especially, you want to be careful about what you say on social media, because other people could suddenly turn against you. You're definitely a very creative person. You love to play with colors, bright colors and patterns, and you could be into filmmaking, movies, creativity. You love to express yourself creatively. You also love comforts and beauties, to be surrounded by art and all sorts of comforts in life. You also can have a great ability to open your third eye. You have huge spiritual and intuitive abilities that sometimes you may not even be aware of. So you can have a huge spiritual journey that can transform you at a deep level. You may even attract a guru or teacher into your life that helps you through this spiritual journey. You're definitely a very sensitive person. You can take what other people say to heart sometimes, but you have huge compassion, huge empathy for other people. It's almost as if you can see through other people's motives. You can see the soul and heart of other people. And definitely, you can have an attraction towards all sorts of mystical, spiritual, and otherworldly things: aliens, UFOs, spirituality, deeper truth. You are a deep thinker. You are always thinking about what is the deeper meaning of life. You have a very unique way of seeing things. And sometimes other people can be shocked by your insights and knowledge. You can appear much older than your true age. So if you have Revati rising in your chart, then you are definitely a very spiritual person. You are fascinated with spirituality, with deeper truth, and you could even want to live this very wholesome spiritual life. There's almost a hippie energy to Revati. You want to just be all about spirituality and deeper truth. You have huge compassion and empathy, especially for animals with this placement. Huge love for animals can be seen. You could be vegan, you could be into peacefulness, meditation, into Taoism with this placement. You love to explore spirituality. Sometimes you could also be skilled at reviving things or finding lost objects, but you yourself are a guide to other people as well. You have this ability to lead through your inspiration, through your knowledge. People look up to you as a Revati person. Sometimes you could have strange OCD or sensitivities as well, especially with traffic lights. There can be strange things that can be seen with this placement. And you could find yourself attracted to lighthouses as well. But again, you yourself are a light and inspiration to other people. Also, the age of 32 could be very important to you. Some dramatic transformations in your life could occur at the age of 32. Sometimes you could also have some dental issues that can be seen, or you like to eat soft foods. You have very sensitive teeth. You could also have a great love of elephants. You could have elephant statues or paintings in your home. And definitely, you love to be near the ocean, to be by the beach, and you love to spend time on your own as well. You're a very independent person. You also have a huge connection with your ancestors. And if you trust in your intuitions, you will find this deep connection, this deep ancestral connection to your family members very strongly with this position. You could go through multiple partners as well because this is a Mercury nakshatra. So there's a lot of changeability here. But ultimately, you are looking for that spouse, that partner who is going to bring value in your life. You're very romantic, very dreamy person. There could be fluctuations sometimes even in your sexuality or your gender as well with this placement. You could be a tomboy with Revati. You could have something different about the way that you express your sexuality with this placement because Mercury is neutral gender. So you have this ability to see from the masculine point of view, from the feminine point of view. You're very open minded, accepting of people from all different walks of life. Because Mercury is also a trickster, you could also be very playful as well. You like to play pranks, to play jokes on people. You have a great sense of humor. You are very bubbly, very playful, and people really enjoy this about you. So, for Pisces ascendant people, the moon, Mars, Jupiter, and K2 tend to be very auspicious dasha periods. Now, for K2, though, you want to check to see how is K2 placed because Rahu, K2 are shadow planets. They're the most unpredictable. And because they are not physical bodies, you want to see what sign are they positioned in and see the ruler of that sign. That will tell you so much more about those dasha periods. So, for example, if Rahu is placed in Sagittarius, where is Jupiter in the chart? That will tell you a lot about what that dasha will hold for you. But Rahu for everyone is the most unpredictable. It's the most restless. It can create a lot of confusion because you can gain huge desires and ambitions and not know which direction to go in. K2 is also a dasha where you could cut out and remove things from the past for some of you, or have some experience where you connect with past life through your dreams, through all sorts of strange spiritual situations. The moon dasha tends to be a great period for expressing your creativity, for having children, for being family oriented. This makes you extremely emotional and attached to your loved ones. The Mars dasha is definitely a time where you could gain great fortune, great wealth could come into your life. Of course, you want to see what is the condition of Mars. Jupiter Dasha tends to be very auspicious for you as well, where you feel very strong in who you are and you become all about spirituality, all about deeper truth, all about wanting to spread compassion and wisdom to the planet. Again, you want to see how is Jupiter placed in the chart. Sun, Venus, Saturn, and Mercury tend to be the trickiest. The Sun is the least difficult, though, for Pisces Ascendant, but you may face some obstacles in relationship to authority figures. This may be a time where there is some kind of change in authority in your workplace, or your authority figures demand a lot from you, become very bossy, very controlling, and you could have a lot of issues in this area. The Venus Dasha can be a time where there's just so many different changes and ups and downs in your relationships that you feel it very difficult to find that partner or to find that relationship situation that is healthy for you. The Saturn Dasha tends to be a time where there's losses through friends, obstacles with friends, disappointments. You could feel like the things that you want to manifest are not coming as fast as you would like it to. And it requires a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work, and a lot of discernment when dealing with other people as well. The Mercury Dasha tends to be a time where you could attract a partner, a spouse at this time. You could be very family oriented at this time, but you're restless. You're always wanting to learn something new, always wanting to travel. There's so much fast paced change happening in your life where sometimes you may need to slow down and to actually recharge your batteries a bit. But Mercury Dasha can bring in great opportunities for property, for vehicles, for this sense of family security and togetherness. So once again, you want to check to see how are all these planets placed in your chart. That will tell you so much about those Dasha periods. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this, feel free to leave a like. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video.